everyone, this is Yujing. Welcome to our channel Stories Across Culture. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We're going to talk about a lot of fun things regards to our cross-cultural life and experiences and our thoughts. Also some travels. Stay tuned for our future more videos. So in this video, I want to talk about something that I always want to talk about, but I haven't got time to do it. So now I'm going to get into it. This is a quite interesting topic because we all know nowadays there are a lot of Chinese study or live in the UK, or people have experiences travel to the UK, but still they have some thoughts that might not be true. So this video might give you some kind of interesting view of how Chinese see the UK. And for those Chinese people who think the same like I did, that some of the thoughts might actually upset or annoy the British people. So be careful when you mention those to them. If they are very sensitive, like my boyfriend, then you might need to think twice before you bring it up to them. First question that a lot of Chinese people want to ask is that, are most of the British people gay? This can be hard to say. It sounds really offensive. It sounds really offensive now, I think. In China, we have a word especially for the UK. It's called 富国, and it means a country of gays. I apologize for people if you feel offended, but I'm just saying this is in the pop culture thing in China that a lot of the actors they like are probably belongs to that group, so they kind of reflect to the whole country. So about this 富国 thing, when I mention it to my boyfriend, also a lot of people mention to him, he always feel quite offensive because he doesn't think that's true and he doesn't like when people ask him that. So be careful when you say that to British people. If you're watching this and you might have some kind of clues, maybe you can tell. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know why. And the second thing is very much global opinion, is that British food is not tasty. A lot of my friends or colleagues are actually studied before in the UK, and I think one comment that is quite common among all of them is that they don't like the food there. And all of them become like super chef and they like to cook by themselves. One thing about it is probably because the Chinese pays a lot of attention to foods, like they care about food a lot. And also China has a lot of good food, as you know, because the country is very big and the country is very, very diverse in different regions, and everywhere has their own different cuisine, different taste. So we're actually exposed to a situation that there are a lot of choices of good food and we are kind of more picky towards food. British food is quite mixed. A lot of immigrants bring its own specialty and came to UK and made it a British signature kind of dish. Though it doesn't really look like European food or British food, it's a quite debatable question here. But do remember that a lot of British people doesn't really like these kind of comments if you say too much to them. And also, I love their steak. I just love their steak and we love it. And there are a lot of desserts is also very, very good in the UK. So I'm pretty sure there are some good foods there. It just may be different from our taste, from our habit, or maybe it doesn't really look like British food, but it's actually British. It's not just fish and chips. Seriously. The third one is quite interesting because even though we're in the East and you're in the West, but we share one habit that we like drinking tea. However, the habit of drinking tea is a bit different from the UK and China. It feels like a lot of people think that British would just add milk and sugar, like everyone would do that in their tea. But I think it's not true because it really depends on how you feel like it. And also I know you have like all different degrees of how much milk you should add, or should you add sugar or not. And the fourth point is pretty universal as well, is that people think the weather in the UK is quite bad. Basically we think it's raining every day, but it is obviously not true because we can see from the latest news that there has been some really good weather in the UK. There was sunshine and quite warm, that people are wearing t-shirts and jogging in the park and a little gathering in the park as well. a few weeks ago, but now people are not doing that anymore. But it reflects the fact that it is not true that UK is always raining. Sometimes you also get sunshine, and sometimes you also get haze. So I guess it's just quite diverse and easy to change. Fifth point. I'm not sure if it applies to all British people, but somehow that we think Westerners cannot eat spicy food. Their tolerance to chili pepper is especially low. I think eating chili pepper is something that I find very, very, very unique about my boyfriend when we just started dating. Because we always thought like foreigners don't really eat spicy food. They will be like, oh my gosh, oh, so hot, it's so hot. But that's not the case with my boyfriend. And I heard this is actually quite common in the UK because you are trained with eating, for example, spicy Indian food like curry. I even heard like curry is more spicy in England or in the UK than in India. I don't know if it's true, you can tell me in the comments. One time when I went back from a business trip back home, and then I find like he prepared a little surprise for me that he made a box of chopped chili. This is like a special kind of dish that we usually have in my hometown, but we usually use a different kind of chili. But he used like this very small, very, very spicy kind of thing, and he made a whole bowl of it. That was really like I was crying when I eat that. It was so hot. But he ate it like, I don't know, 2 spoons of that at once, and that's like really surprising. However, this makes me a bit frustrated because I'm from a province that in China we're famous for eating spicy food, and he beats me in these, and I don't know what to say, but it's just a sad story for me, and I need to practice my skills and bring my spirits back. My spirits of being someone who's from a province which has a proud in cooking spicy food. The sixth point I find quite interesting is that when I started to learn English, I thought English is the same. What I mean is that you would use the same vocabulary, same words when you speak, even though you have different accents. You have American accent, you have British accent, you have Australian accent, but I'm obviously very, 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 very wrong about it. This started with a story when we tried to cook dinner. It was not so long after we started dating, so most of the time it's actually fine, it's actually the same. I didn't realize any differences, but that one time when we started to cook dinner and he said, so should we use this aubergine? And I was like, what? And then he just bring the vegetable and it's an eggplant. And I was like, that's an eggplant. And he said, no, it's an aubergine. I cannot even say that words at that time, but now I can. Aubergine, yeah. And another thing is that zucchini. Zucchini, same dinner that we will cook zucchini as well. And he said, I kind of forget that word now. Is that courgette? Yeah, courgette. Now I can remember. And I was like, that's a zucchini. And he said, it's a courgette. Courgette? I hope I said it right, but let me know if I used the wrong word. And then I realized, okay, maybe American English and British English, they sometimes can be different and they cannot really be understood properly by both sides. And to me, I kind of like, it's kind of weird because the English education I received, I started taking English classes since primary school, grade 4. So I think majority of people started in their junior high school, which is grade 7. And we always learn a mixture of things, I feel. The English we learn, it really depends on what teacher you have. Some teachers are getting their education in British English and some educations are in American English. So we're kind of like in the mix, but more to the American English side. And in addition to that topic, I would say there are some things that I feel also strange to hear about. Like British people likes to say, it's alright, quite a lot, but I was like, no, it's not alright, it's like perfect, it's like great, it's like amazing, it's marvelous, it's incredible, but it's not just alright. Now I'm getting used to it. I still make fun of that, sometimes not, sometimes I'm just really expecting like, it's amazing, it's incredible. I hope I'll get that more often. 777. And the 7th point is that we think British accent is the same. We think everyone in the UK speak British accent, and it should be that accent that we usually hear, for example, from Downton Abbey or from BBC News. But obviously it's not true, because British accents, it's very different. Just like Chinese, we have different dialects in different provinces. In the UK, they also have different accents in different regions, especially in Scotland or North Ireland, or maybe Welsh. I'm not so familiar, but I know, like, when I went to Scotland, I cannot really understand English there, so I was like, did I just learn fake English back in school? Because I literally don't understand what people say there if they're speaking with a quite strong Scottish accent. I don't get it. So key points: people in the UK speak with different accents, and some accents are really different, and you might not be able to understand them, or even you think you speak English, just like me. The 8th point: we think it's a United Kingdom, which means it's one country and you share one system and things are running the same inside the country. We think maybe Scotland, North Ireland and Wales are like different region, but like bigger region. Actually, it's very different, because it's the United Kingdom, but you actually have different systems. For example, regards to school, regards to vote, and you also have different maybe taxation, a different bank as well. You have Bank of Scotland and Bank of England, and you produce different notes. That is actually quite new for a lot of Chinese people, because we always say 英国, right? The United Kingdom, the UK. So we don't really distinguish the countries inside the UK. We just thought it's a region, like but quite big one. Obviously, we thought like the system running the same, but truth is it's not. Each part is running independently by themselves. There are some things are shared, for example, national defense or foreign affairs maybe, but there are a lot of things that is separated. For example, I heard education in Scotland is free, but in England is quite expensive. And the ninth point, it relates to politics. I think a lot of Chinese people think, even though British politics is in the Chinese news from time to time and it's an important country, but a lot of people in China actually still think that the UK is running similar system like in the US. It's a direct election to your prime minister. When I started to date my British boyfriend, I get more and more exposed to the British news and ask more and more questions, and now I kind of get the simple guide to British political structure. So no, the prime minister is not directly elected by the people, but the people will elect their members in the parliament in their region directly. There might be some other like special cases, blah 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 blah, but simply saying is that UK's prime minister is not directly elected by the people, but they elect MP. This is actually a little bit similar to the People's Representatives system in China, but obviously the rest of the part is not the same. And the last one, tan. The last one is actually a little bit, I'm not so sure about it, because there are actually two sides of the voices here. That's parts of the Chinese will think the British is quite stubborn and conservative, but the rest will think British people as a part of the Westerners are really open, similar to Southern Europeans or Americans. In general, I think usually people mix British and American a lot because they're both English-speaking country. They have pretty close relationship, and then they had shared history before as well. So a lot of people will think British people are very similar to American people, because we usually call them together like 英美国家. So to represent the English-speaking countries, UK and the USA. But then later on I find it actually not so true, because British people are very different from American. British people are somehow conservative, or from what I understand, like they're not those kind of people who actually exaggerate, but express their feelings a lot, and they're actually sometimes don't really talk that much. Like my boyfriend, when I met him at the very beginning, I even asked him like, will you get excited over some things because you always look so calm? And then he said, of course. But yeah, that was kind of like my image of him at the very beginning. I guess you can also say it's a common picture of a lot of British people there, and it's very different from the American style. Hey bro, what's up today? Hey, I know it's so amazing. Oh, these things, you know, it's incredible. Joking. That's the end of my video today, and I really hope that you get to know a little bit more about the UK and China as well. And here in China, we're going to have a 5-day vacation soon. Unfortunately, we cannot really travel somewhere because of the pandemic, but we will try to get around the Beijing city, and we want to bring you some interesting stories along our walk. And last time, please subscribe. If you feel really annoyed when you hear YouTubers saying that, it's because they really want your subscription. Also, please like or dislike, I hope you like this video, and leave a comment to share your opinions with us. See you next time!